Elon Musk recently came out and said, my son is dead and he died because of the woke mind virus. And this went crazy viral. A lot of people were saying, how dare you, Elon Musk, say this about your son? And for those of you who don't know, Elon Musk had a son named Xavier. That son is now a woman named Vivian because they've decided to transition. They actually petitioned the court here in Los Angeles, where I'm speaking to you now, in Santa Monica, and said, I want a legal name change. The court granted him that legal name change, and now Elon Musk's son is named Vivian now. So Elon Musk spoke about this in a podcast with Jordan Peterson. We'll run that clip again for you so you can see it.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he. That was
a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison. So I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
There you go. So that's the clip. And this went crazy. Everybody was saying, what a horrible transphobe. Your son isn't dead. Your son is actually alive and now goes by, she, her pronouns and is named Vivian. And how dare you disown your child in this way? Even though there's a substantial amount of evidence to say that the child really pushed out Elon Musk, actually, in the petition to the court to have their name changed. The child said, I want nothing to do with my father in any way, shape, or form. And that was a large reason behind wanting to change the name. It begs the question, is that a large reason behind wanting to change your gender as well? You effectively wanted to be dead to your father. You change your gender in order to get there. That might be a small piece of the pie as far as the motivation behind that. And now Elon Musk is being called a transphobe for referring to his son as being dead, even though the left-leaning community will tell you if you use the old name, you are dead naming somebody, meaning you are using the name of somebody who is dead. So I'm not sure exactly how that makes sense. But of course, in all this controversy, Elon Musk's child is the question. And his child is now grown. I believe they're 20 years old now. You guys can fact check me on that. And Xavier/Vivian made this video saying, hey guys, I'm soon going to be responding to everything my father has been saying.
It is Vivian Jenna Wilson. I'm just going to come on here and say that I'm doing well. I'm doing fine, actually. And I am formulating a response and whatnot. It's being worked on. It's being worked on. Just hold your goddamn horses for 5 more seconds, okay? I promise it's getting worked on. It is Vivian.
Okay. Now, as you can see, his child is really through the process of transitioning. Has gone through a considerable amount of the process. It looks quite feminine in this video. And you're right, they were formulating a response. And we're going to go ahead and read some of that here today so we can check in and see how valid some of the complaints that this child has for Elon Musk really are. Here we go. It says, there's a lot of stuff I need to debunk, which I will get to, don't worry, but I want to start with what I find the funniest, which is the notorious slightly autistic tweet, which I'll read Elon Musk essentially says that Xavier was gay and slightly autistic. Born gay is the phrase he uses. I don't agree with that phrase, but I digress. Was born gay and slightly autistic. Two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. I knew that from when he was 4 years old and he would pick out clothes for me to wear, like a jacket, and tell me it was fabulous, as well as his love of musicals and theater. But he was not a girl. Now, there are many qualms that I have with this tweet. The attribution of certain characteristics to a specific sexuality or to a specific identity, I don't exactly agree with. And maybe at one day, Elon Musk and I could talk that out. But probably never, so I'll just leave it in this video to talk about. But this idea that a kid can be having different, sexualities or experiencing autism, and that may give way to gender dysphoria, is actually a very noted and researched fact. For that, I would urge you to read something like The End of Gender by Deborah So, where she talks about these details. Anything by Abigail Schreier, where we talk about the young people who are autistic, maybe gay, who end up experiencing gender dysphoria and then are pushed down the path of transition, which Elon Musk alludes to being the case with his own child. Now, this is going to become a he said, she said type of thing, but that's the tweet in question. His child goes on to say, "This is going to be a bit, so just bear with me." And we'll scroll down here. "This is entirely fake. Like, literally, none of this ever happened, ever. I don't even know where he got this from. My best guess is that he went to Milo Yiannopoulos' school of gay stereotypes, just picked some at random, and said, good enough, in a last-ditch attempt to garner sympathy points when he is obviously in the wrong, even in his own fucking story." Now, it would be hard to substantiate whether or not this is true. Considering in Elon Musk's claim, this child was 4 years old. Do you guys remember everything that you guys did and said at 4 years old? I certainly don't. I don't remember what my interests were at 4 years old. I don't remember whether or not I would have uttered the word fabulous in regard to a jacket that my father was wearing. And I would, to a certain extent, trust my father or parents' memory in regard to what was happening at the time, considering I was 4 years old. But of course, the claim is made that Elon Musk is sort of weaponizing these made-up memories against the child. Who knows? We're not going to be able to confirm that. They go on to say, "I did not have a love of musicals and theater when I was 4 because, I was fucking 4. I did not know what these things were. My earliest real experience with musicals was when my twin brother had a Hamilton phase in 8th, 9th grade and overplayed it so much in the car to the point where for a long time I swore off the entire genre." Again, how would you know whether or not you liked musicals and theater at 4 years old? Do you guys remember everything that you were into at 4 years old? I think what they're trying to insinuate here is that their earliest real memory of musicals was when they were in 8th and 9th grade. Who can substantiate that? I do not know. They go on to say, "I never picked out jackets for him to wear." How would you know? "And I was most certainly not calling them fabulous because literally, what the fuck? I did not use the word fabulous when I was 4 because once again, I would like to reiterate, I was 4. Again, I don't know how you can know these things about what you were saying. This is so obvious. I don't even think it warrants explanation. But apparently people believe this nonsense. So here I am. This entire thing is completely made up, and there's a reason for this. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. And in the little time he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. So was he there or was he not there? Because you say he wasn't there, and then you say when he was there, he was relentlessly bullying you. But I guess he was doing that when you were 4 years old as well, and you remember that from 4 years old, but can't quite remember exactly what you were saying at 4 years old. Again, I don't know. They go on to say, obviously, he can't say that. So I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype, effing, as in the F word that used most commonly towards gay people, effing along to use at his discretion. I think that says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. As for if I'm not a woman, sure, Jan, whatever you say. I'm legally recognized as a woman in the state of California, and I don't concern myself with the opinions of those who are below me, he writes. Obviously, Elon can't say the same because in a ketamine-fueled haze, he's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and pick-me's who are quick to give it to him. Go touch some fucking grass. Somebody responds, extremely shocked to hear this D-bag is a liar. Hope you're not too bothered by what he says about you. And the son/daughter responds, "I'm not, LOL. I've just started to find it funny at this point. Calling me dead on a podcast with Jordan Peterson, of all people, while basically admitting you have zero reading comprehension by saying you were, quote, tricked, end quote, into signing documents that you read over multiple times is basically a parody of itself. Like, it's honestly camp." Okay, so there you go. There is the response from Elon Musk's child. They're clearly not happy about the news, clearly not happy about Elon Musk and what he said about this woke mind virus killing his child. But I will say, none of this cleared up anything for me, as we're being asked to question the memory of somebody who would have been 4 years old at the time. We're getting very vicious attacks towards the father. We're getting the claim that the father viciously attacked you and your femininity and your queerness when you were a kid. All of this we could not possibly know, but we do know that trans kids don't exist. So there's that. We do have that, and that is definitely backed by science and research, and we don't have to ask anybody for their memory of what somebody said at 4 years old in order to substantiate that fact. So when somebody says the woke mind virus killed their son, I think I'm going to lean in on that perspective for this one, whether or not all the other stuff used to substantiate that claim is true or not. I don't care if you were 4 years old and you picked out a jacket for dad and you said it's fabulous, but that does not concern me at all. This is not something that I would worry about in my analysis of whether or not this person was pushed down the path of this, quote, woke mind virus, end quote. I would be more concerned about the result and the outcome. And the outcome is a young boy who thought he was a girl, and so much so decided to transition and have their name legally changed to, while trying to affirm themselves, actually running as far away from who they actually are as possible. Now, that is a sign to me of the woke mind virus. And this is not an endorsement of Elon Musk, his fathering skills. It's not to say that he's a fantastic parent. In fact, many times on this show, I've directly said, I do not at all agree with Elon Musk running around and impregnating as many people as he possibly can to repopulate the earth. And I think there's maybe some underlying subconscious drivers in him just trying to have as many children as he possibly can. And I question the ability of a man to properly father and parent that many children, with that being your goal. And this can so often be the result of that. A child who does not have proper love from their father, does not have a proper relationship with that father, is watching them go out and have children with other women, and then it creates internal identity issues, and they hate daddy so much that they petition the court when they're 18 to have their name changed, and in that petition they say, I want nothing to do in any way, shape, or form with my father. So while the woke mind virus can be largely responsible for the result and the outcome that we get here, I am by no means pushing aside the possibility that failure in parenting also contributed to this problem. And, you know, there's blame to be thrown out in all directions, and we can be all like that Spider-Man meme where we're like pointing the gun at everybody who's in the room. But I would put the majority of the blame on what creates the result, which would be the wokeness, the ideology. This result does not exist without the ideology to usher it forward. But to Elon Musk, maybe we take this as a learning lesson to not go around just having as many kids as possible because you have the money to support those children. Money isn't everything. Sometimes a kid just needs to be told that you love them and that they are in fact a boy, and they need proper time and a proper relationship with their father in order to truly understand that. They need that role figure consistently present in their life. And no matter how much money you have, no matter how many like goons you have to take care of all these things you're doing, the one thing that you don't have is the ability to be consistently in the lives of this many children that you're going out and creating. So I didn't want this video to purely absolve Elon Musk of maybe some of the responsibility that he bears in the outcome here. But I also want to criticize the response of the child and say that it does seem as though this woke mind virus is largely responsible for the outcome here. But that's our update, you know? And I feel for this breakdown of a father-son relationship that we're now all witnessing in the public sphere. This is not something that we should be looking at publicly. This should be dealt with personally. And it just further shows how much the relationship has been degraded between these two. And it sucks. It sucks to grow up without a dad. It sucks to grow up viewing your dad in this way and hating somebody who should be a very significant male role model in your life. And what this person needs most is a very significant male role model. So yeah, that sucks.